Try find that ass. We're honestly just a group of guys that are not only family and friends. All right, welcome to another awesome episode of the HnH Podcast. I'd like to welcome everyone who will be joining us today. We have the old men with us.
Hey!
So we have my dad, mine and Hunter's dad, James, with us, and then Colton's dad, Matt. If you guys want to introduce yourselves, tell us a little about yourselves.
Okay. I'm really old.
Yes.
I grew up in Utah, and we moved to Alaska, lived there for 4 years, and then in Colorado. Been here for about 8 years and really enjoying it. Raised my kids hunting and fishing since they could walk. I took Jameson, rabbit hunting when he was like, I think 18 months old for the first time. But the outdoors has always been a big part of my life. Proud of these boys. Think this is really cool what they're doing, and glad that we could be on here and be part of it. Matt, you?
Well, I grew up hunting, but my dad's idea of hunting was more of let's go for a nice family drive. Let's not ruin it by actually killing something, because then we got a lot of work to do. So I married into a hunting family. My wife's family is really big into it, and we have definitely shot things where I'm second guessing, thinking, why did we do that? As we're trying to pack it out or drag it out or stuff. So anyway, it's been fun. I remember taking Colton on some hunting trips early in his life, and I think I kind of planted a bug there that has just festered and grown. So that's been good. It's a great way to spend quality time together and also get some time out in God's creations.
Heck yeah. No, as me, Colton, and Hunter have definitely talked about, we love hunting in the outdoors, and we decided we wanted to have everyone be able to hear from the men that actually got us started in it. So, in reality, the fact that everyone's listening to us is your fault.
Yeah, all you guys fault.
No, but what we wanted to start with was talking about our Alaska adventures. A few years ago, me, Hunter, and my dad, my whole family, we lived in Alaska, Prince of Wales Island, and we were lucky enough to be able to have Matt and Colton and all their family come and visit us a couple different times, and we were able to have quite a few adventures during those times. And so we kind of want to turn the time over to the old men. We'll interrupt when we want or when we want to talk about stuff, but we figured we'd rather hear from you guys more today than from ourselves.
Yeah, and I'm sure the audience does too. So
Yeah.
they've heard a lot of us too in the last little bit.
Well, I can tell you the amazing thing about Alaska is it's like one of the last frontiers. And when we moved there, we had the opportunity to live a subsistence lifestyle. So we fished and hunted, and we even did trapping while we were there. We got to experience what it was like to kind of be a pioneer with gathering, berries and even chicken of the wood, which is a mushroom that grows on a tree. We had to get firewood. It was just a surreal experience. So when you guys came up, it was so fun to be able to take you out and share that with you, because we knew that you appreciated it as much as we did. So out of all the people that came and visited us, besides my immediate siblings, which was a whole nother story some other time, we just loved having you guys there because you were so eager. Let's go. Right, Matt?
Oh man, I felt bad because we'd get you up and you'd get your boat and we'd leave. Oh, maybe not before dawn because dawn was pretty early, but it was pretty close. And you'd drive us out to some honey holes and we'd sleep on the way out. We'd fish all day, then you'd drive us back in and we'd sleep on the way in. I don't know that you got much sleep in. So yeah, I was kind of worried we were kind of wearing you out, but not worried enough to stop fishing while we were there.
No, it was cool.
My favorite was when we got there. It was dark. It was late, and you said, "Hey, you want to go check some crab pots?" And I guess I have no idea what crab pots are. So we went out. You checked your crab pots. We had a little bit of a catch there, and took them in and got to the dock. Prepared them there and brought them in, boiled them up, and we had crab that night. You don't get any fresher than that. So, and kind of spoiled me because, now when can I ever eat crab again?
It's not to stay.
So,
yeah, so we could catch Dungeness crab, and we had 2 pots, and it was easy to catch 6 to 8 crab every day. So we set it right after we were done. I think we had crab a couple more times that you were there.
Oh yeah.
We had 2 boats though. A skiff that was a lot of fun, but then a bigger fishing boat that had like an enclosed cab that we would take out, 17-footer. It would hold up to 1,000 pounds. We always overfilled it because we'd set a skate line and bring back like 1,000 pounds of fish plus the weight of everybody else. And we'd head up north through the Stewart Strait up to a place we call the Butthole, and that's where we'd catch halibut. We found it was like a cross-section where a couple of different tributaries came in and created a current. And a skate line, for those of you that don't know what that is, it's a 30-pound weight. It's a weighted rope. And then every 10 feet you have a gannion that hooks to a circle hook, and you would put a fish head on it or a salmon belly or something like that. And we would set like 25 to 30 hooks, another 30-pound weight, and then 300 feet of rope up to a buoy. And we would set it and then go fish for several hours and then come back and pull it by hand. It was kind of like the man in the sea because you had to pull in. And we've caught some really big halibut. I think Hunter pulled out the biggest one we ever caught. That was over 200 pounds. And he was just a little fart back then.
Yes, sir.
It was fun.
The Hobbit.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So Matt, what was your favorite fish to catch while we were there?
I gotta go with the halibut. Salmon was fun, but I still miss, sitting there and you feel one just start to get on and then it's game on, and sometimes it takes quite a while to reel those things in. And it didn't seem to be based on the weight, because some of the ones we fought the hardest, we get up there and it's like, what is this? And then other ones we didn't fight near as hard, but we wore them out, I guess, early because there were some big ones that we pulled in that weren't as much of a fight. The biggest fight though was that 200-pound anchor that we. Yeah,
I was like, there's two stories I wanted to share. That was one of them. Matt hooked into the biggest.
Give away the punchline. Rewind.
Matt, he hooked into the biggest freaking fish we ever caught in Alaska, and I had to lift the pole, stick it on my shoulder, and push it up as hard as I could, and he'd crank it in, and we brought it up just inches at a time, and everybody was just like, "This is going to be like a world record." And it was a freaking anchor. That was awesome. That's one of my favorite stories. And then we were out at the Triplets, and it was really hot. It was the middle of the day. Nobody wanted to go back. We just wanted to keep fishing. So we were jigging for halibut, and I'd fallen asleep, and Matt snuck over to the side of the boat and grabbed the line and started jerking on the pole. I thought I'd caught one. Yeah, I caught Matt that day. That was that was awesome.
Biggest regret was that we didn't, because everybody knew what was going on but you. You were the only, like I said, we'd worn you out. You were over on bow sleeping, and I snuck out the backside and just kind of scurried around the boat where your line was, started yanking on it, and I got one, this is a big one. I'm like, yeah, it's about 215 pounds. I'll bet I can guess the exact weight on this one.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Excuse me.
So,
So some of the other, I mean, we went out and did some trying to catch the salmon that were running. And I mix, there were 2 times that we went out, and I'll mix them up. I guess it doesn't really matter to those that are listening. It can all kind of sound like one big one, but we actually went out 2 different years.
Yeah.
I remember the time we were out at Whale Pass. Is that where it was?
Yeah.
And we're fishing, and a couple of old ladies were out in their boat, and they couldn't get it started. They had a little skiff out there, and they were just floating around and trying to pull it, trying to get it started, and they couldn't figure out how to finally get it going. So we stepped in and were able to kind of help them.
Yeah. Well Pass is a pretty amazing place there on Prince of Wales, and one of the best silver runs, I think, in the whole country. But they had something happen to their hatchery that feeds into it, and Well Pass has really gone downhill. I don't know if it'll ever recover. I don't know if they'll ever have a decent silver run again. That place is going to shrivel up. Nobody's going to go there anymore. Which is really sad, because it was phenomenal. Man, you get right in the open bay, right as where the river comes in and hits salt water, and you could just slay silvers all day long. So much fun. We were fishing there once, and Hunter had a silver on, and a freaking sea lion bit into it, and he fought that sucker. It's like, I don't know, 300-pound seal, and he was fighting it with his salmon rod. And eventually it gave up and let go, and we pulled in this, what was it, like a 8 or 10-pound silver Hunter. Big old teeth marks on it where the seal had bit it. That was cool. And then we went back another time with Matt's dad, Steve, and his uncle, Ned, and we were fishing, and I think it was Hunter, and I can't remember who the other kid's name was. And we were fishing for halibut, and a well went under the boat and hooked onto both their lines and just started stripping line out. So he caught a freaking well and a seal. 2 things I always wanted to catch and never got to. And Hunter got both of them. He didn't bring either one in, but it was pretty cool.
It's too good.
Yeah. One of my favorite things about fishing, though, for halibut is catching rockfish. It was a lot easier to catch a rockfish than a halibut, and they're so goofy looking. And we brought up some of the ugliest, weirdest fish you've ever seen in your life that I wish I had taken a picture and taken the time to look them up. But one of them kind of looked like a goblin shark. It's really rare. I don't know if you remember that, Caden, that fish that we caught one time. Ugliest thing you ever saw. We just looked at it, we're like, oh, that's ugly. Threw it over the side, kept fishing. But we would catch sharks a lot and rays, stingrays, like really big ones, like skates. Yep, like 6 feet across. Yellow eye. It's like a yellow colored goldfish. Look like a bass, kind of. Those are so good to eat. They're hard to catch. You have to kind of find the right spot.
Yeah.
Man, they're fun. Lean cod. We caught a few lean cods.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, Hunter's got a couple real good ones.
Yep. You can head on over to my IG. You can see some pictures of those.
They're not as big as they look because again he's kind of short. But
Hey, there's a picture of one of them on the scale, and it was 40 pounds. There's no lying about that one.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
heck yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, so
I didn't know
here's-
you could do that.
So the first time we went as a family, we got on the ferry. The second time we said, "The heck with the ferry, let's get on one of these little puddle jumpers," and so that took a 3-hour trip plus another hour driving down to a 30-minute flight. So that was kind of nice.
I think that was one of the last times I ever wore shorts.
There's one of the salmon that we caught.
Yeah, it's a good one.
So
Looks like Brother Lion's boat in the background.
yeah.
Yeah.
and then another one of the halibut somewhere.
Yeah, that one was a pretty good one.
There we go. Oh, this one I'm trying to make it look big. But no,
Yeah.
that was my. So the first trip, that was the only one I caught.
I remember.
Yeah, I finally got the one, but yeah, we spent a lot of time fishing, and I only got the one. But man, it still was addictive. Second time, we caught a ton of them. It seemed like.
Yeah.
Why don't you guys tell us about that time the halibut almost got the best of Matt?
Yeah, I want to hear your guys' version on that one.
Well, James, your dad is reeling one in, and he hands me the gaff, and he says, go ahead, you got this, and so he pulls it in, and I'm trying to feed it through the gill and pull it in, without really gaffing it, and I think I've got it, and then he kind of pulls it up, and then it snaps off and gets away. And so at that point, I'm just desperate. It was huge. It was a 200-pounder, we figure, probably the biggest one. Anyway, and so I am diving over the edge with the gaff, trying to get it in. And I'm up to my shoulder, over the boat, in the water. James is holding on to my feet from the back, thinking, what in the world are you thinking? What if you do gaff it?
We both would have got in.
Anyway. Man, I was. That's like that the hunting story where you let the big one get away. It was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But,
A lot of guys out there carry a pistol, and when they get something like that, they just shoot it in the head a couple times before they try to bring it in. Or they use a harpoon with a buoy, which we had. I don't know why we didn't do that. And you harpoon it, throw a buoy out, and then if it gets off, it doesn't go anywhere. But, we were excited in the moment. We can do this. Just stick that gaff in there. Yeah, normally you just swing it really hard and puncture the side of it and then pull it out.
yeah, I
that way.
figured that out later, but not on that one. I messed that one up.
Oh, it's all good,
Broke my
man.
heart.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have had that memory without it.
Nope.
Yeah, I guess.
Truth.
I think the
Would have
story
just been another fish caught.
Oh no, we had a ton of pretty sweet adventures up in Alaska. A lot more stories to come in the future of it too. And
Oh yeah.
but we did have a few questions that we wanted to ask you guys. And yeah, feel free to expound on any of them, talk as much as you want. But so the first question, and we'd like an answer from both of you. What is the first hunt that you have ever been on, that you ever remember being on?
That we hunted or that we just went on?
Your
earliest memory.
Their earliest. Good hell, I can't talk. Your earliest memory of being on a hunt.
So growing up, I wanted to be with my dad because they went up on West Peak. There was a big group of people that went up. It was like a huge ordeal going with horses. Stay the night before, hunt all day, Saturday, had to bring the deer out on horses. I mean, it was like this huge deal. And my dad was kind of invited, so he didn't really feel like he was like an equal partner in the situation because we didn't have any horses. So he waited longer than he wanted to before he actually let me go. I think I was 7 or 8 years old when he finally let me go. And I had to do 10 push-ups. He's like, if you can do 10 push-ups, I'll take you up on the mountain. And I tried for like a week and I couldn't do 10 push-ups. And he's like, if you can do 5 push-ups, I'll take you up on the mountain. So I did my 5 push-ups. I think I did them like a girl. I don't even remember. But he finally let me go. And I bundled up so much clothes because it's so cold up there for rifle hunt. And we were hiking up in like a foot of snow. And I was sweating so bad that I started to like overheat. So he stripped me down to my long johns, and I'm walking through the snow in my long johns, freezing to death. We got up on top, and I almost had hypothermia. So he let me put all my clothes back on, and then he took off all of his jackets and wrapped them up around me, and I was just like this bug burrowed in a cocoon. And he was standing there with a t-shirt on and long johns, slapping his arms, trying to stay warm. And we were right on the crest of West Peak, and the wind just blows right over the top. And the sun finally started to crest over, and I was so warm. And then when the sun hit me, I was even warmer. And every year, the Baylesses, God bless the Baylesses, would come up the backside of West Peak, the north side, with horses, and they pushed every buck up over the top of that peak, and they ran to us every year. And we'd just pick out the ones we wanted and shoot them. And that year, my dad, in all his wisdom and glory, decided to sight in his rifle on a fence post down with Don Brown, and it wasn't even close to being accurate. And he shot and shot and shot, and this weird 2-point came, and he shot and shot and shot and shot and shot. And it got within, I think, 50 yards of us before he finally hit it. And it wasn't a very good shot. He had to shoot it like 3 times to kill it. And I went over and gutted it out. That was the first time I gutted out a deer. There's a picture, my glasses and this goofy hat on, and I'm looking up like trying to, that was my first memory of hunting. Like it happened yesterday. It was awesome.
Like I say, I don't remember hunting a lot with my dad growing up. I do remember we went. I didn't like the cold. I didn't like walking. And I do remember going out with them one time, and I've got a picture of it somewhere. And we hiked. And for me, it was like 50 miles in that we hiked, but it was probably, thinking about it, probably 100 yards. And but I do remember following in his footprints, trying to follow in his footsteps in the snow. There was enough snow that I didn't want to traipse my own path through, so I was trying to follow him. And then we hiked in a little ways and sat down and froze and hiked back out. That's all I can remember. And then, and then, fast forward to when I was able to legally hunt. I do remember my first hunt that I went on. I was sitting and looking down into a little canyon, and this really nice 4-point pops up. Easy shot, maybe 150 yards. And I pull up. I've got it in my sights, but it's that far in front of the nose. And I cannot make myself pull the rifle over. It won't go. I'm frozen that far in front of it. So what do? Pull the trigger anyway, right?
If there's lead in the air, there's a prayer.
I was just hoping my scope was off, but no, it was dead on. I shot right in front of that thing. I can't remember if it was your Uncle Josh that was with me or who, but they were like right in front of me, just off to the right of me, so they heard every the barrel. He was deaf for a little while after that. But and then I think, I'm just going to take off running after it and get partway after it. My dad's like, yeah, it's probably over the next couple ridges by now. You're not going to catch up to that thing. So, yeah, that was, I found the video. This is what I looked like after that.
That's okay, bud.
Yeah.
Not for money.
Still like that today.
Yeah, that one hurt. There've been other times in my life that I've been disappointed with my decisions and my performance, but not many worse than that.
I think we all been there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Some of us more recent than others. There's two of us on this podcast that had some fun times this year.
Yeah. I would like to point out that my crosshairs were in the money zone. They weren't in front of the nose of the deer.
I don't know what I was thinking when I pulled the trigger. I'm just like, I know it's too far in front. It's not going to hit. But I got to do something. I don't know. It was...
No, that's Jared's motto. If there's lead in the air, there's prayer, and he throws a lot of lead. And
You never know, man. I've seen some stupid things happen.
Sometimes
yeah,
You
about
have
that, watched my
ricochet.
dad kill a buck off a ricochet.
And that
That
was
was-
one of my nicer bucks that I've got. So
Yeah. But
sometimes the last 700-yard shot with the deer turning away is the one that gets it.
Yep. Boom. That's my
Deer's
motto.
dead, man. It's all
I don't want to shoot it up close. I got to scare it out there a ways. Then
Make
just
sure
the
that it's
money's
yours.
got. First 8 shots don't count. It's that the last one is just going over the rise. Now I'm serious. Boom. So living in Alaska, when we were hunting there, it's really weird because you get, it's a 5 deer tags a piece. Is that right, guys?
Yeah.
So we each get 5 deer
but,
tags. 6. One had to
but
be
one has to be off island or a doe.
Yeah. So deer hunt lasts 6 months, and we would just shoot the crap out of everything. And so one season, it was opening day, and we jump in the 4Runner, which was our hunting machine, and we're cruising up this road, and we pass this dad and this kid, and they're like sneaking up this road to Big Muskeg. You could tell they've just been walking for 45 minutes in the dark trying to get there at first light. We drive past them looking at them, and we get up there ahead of them, and there's deer everywhere, and I think we shot 3 bucks right there, didn't we?
I shot that big 4x3. Hunter got that little 2-point. And
Maybe I
then
shot one later that day.
I know after we passed them on the way out, Phil actually had shot one.
Yeah, so we tied all the heads on top of the 4Runner. We were driving past them, and I'll never forget the look on that kid's face when he was just staring up at these deer on top of our 4Runner. We're waving at him, smiling. It's so funny.
I got a little story to add on top of that.
All right.
Every year when we were in Alaska, we only had 2 guns. We had a 243 and then my dad's 270. And so we would always play games to see who got to shoot first on opening day. And that year, it was on the drive home. We were driving from Thorn Bay to Kaufman Cove, which was like about an hour drive. And it was whoever saw the most deer on the way home got to shoot first on opening day. And so as we're driving home, Mr. Eagle Eyes over here, yours truly, saw the most deer. So I had first shot opening day. I had it. I won the game. It was my turn. So we roll up to that muskeg that my dad was just talking about. We hop out, and we see this deer. It's a really nice 4x3 down in the muskeg.
Biggest one we ended up ever getting.
Yep, biggest deer we ever killed on the island. And we see it. It's sitting out there at like 200, 250 yards, just chilling. And so we get out. I have the gun. I'm like super excited because it's going to be the first big buck I ever killed. I'm hyped about it. And then good old James over here, he decides to come over and he's like, let me look at it. Let me look at it through the scope. I just want to look, I promise. So let me look at it.
I can't believe you fell for that.
So me being the little 10-year-old kid that I am is like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Hand him the gun. He lays down, looking at the deer through the scope and, just decides to pull the trigger since he's there anyways. And that dirt bag shot my deer. And so then we go down there to get his big buck. I'm like really sad. And on the way down, jump another little 2-point. And I shoot that one. And so James is trying to be all happy. Like, yay, you shot a buck. Yay. I'm like, F you, man. You killed my deer. That's the big one. I killed my baby. So yeah, it was my little rant on that. I never let him get that down.
Well, you got to teach the kids young that they got to be fast and smart.
That's right. Fast. That's the key right there.
It's a life lesson, Your dad won't always be there to shoot it for you, so you got to be able to do it yourself and not fall for those pranks by, less well-meaning people.
Boom.
I'll tell you what, I'm not afraid to push a homie over now to get first out of the deer.
Lesson learned.
Well, I don't think you have too much to complain about because you have one of the biggest deer out of all of us. So,
hey, God knew that I was supposed to shoot the big deer. All right, so it just came to pass on a mule deer, which is way bigger than a blacktail.
Yeah, that's a good story too. You'll have to tell that one sometime.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
So here, I'll take us back to another Alaska adventure when we weren't out fishing. We happened to be there over the 4th of July weekend, and Prince of Wales has some fun traditions that they do. One of them is, hey, let's see if we can pull a bunch of money together, take a telephone pole, grease it up, and see if these fat old guys can get the flag on the end of the pole. I don't think I've ever been right since then. My back's out of place and my head's just never been quite right.
That was fun.
But yeah, that's a fun tradition.
Oh yeah.
They pulled up enough money. I sit there thinking, holy cow, I could have this whole trip paid for. I just got to stay on long enough to get that stupid flag.
Well, and you have to come up with it. There are a couple of guys that never came up with it.
They got all the way to the end.
No, that was fun.
Oh yeah.
All right. So we want to know what your guys' first one of your least favorite hunts that you've ever been on? And then second, one of your favorite hunts you've ever been on.
That's easy for me. Is this?
Oh, good. I'll have to.
I have 2 hunts that sucked. Freaking sucked. This year, I got a deer tag for Trinidad leftover, and it wasn't until after it was too late that I found out that you have to first draw a tag to get onto the state park, then you draw the hunting tag. So they sell 500 hunting tags, and they let 10 people go in and hunt. So I had a tag that was worthless, so I couldn't hunt anything. So that was a pretty crappy hunt, as I'm listening to you guys with all these amazing stories this year, and I didn't even get to go out and look for a deer. But my worst hunt was we went down by the mill in Blanding, and I think Caden was with me, Jameson, and we went out there, and we got set up and waiting for the sun to come up, and my dad starts shooting. He was on the far side of the canyon. That was an interesting deer hunt. Never shot a bullet, but I got to watch Caden get out the deer. That was the first deer he got out. It took us a while. I think it was like 45 minutes to an hour, but he got it done. So I was proud of him. He wanted to stop a few times. I'm not doing this. And I was like, finish it. Big old
stomach open.
Yeah, it was rough, but he did it, man. He did it all by himself. I didn't touch the deer. I just encouraged him and walked him through it. So there you go. All right, Matt, let's hear your worst.
Oh, my worst. So, like I said, I married into this hunting thing. I had never hunted elk before. And I went out I think I went out one year with my father-in-law, James. And they had a spike tag. And it was fun. It was a fun hunt to go on. So the next year I got a spike tag and I went out with them. And some of them had cow tags but I just had the over-the-counter spike tag. So we're out there, and we see them coming down. I mean, it's really cool. We see them coming down a peak and into a draw, and there were 2 ways they could go as they came down they could go down, a draw on the east side or on the west side of this little knoll. So we just booked it up this knoll. And my father-in-law pulls up, and I don't know, I think at this point it's a 600 or 700 yard shot. I think what he actually shot it was only 400, but either way, it was an impressive shot. It was, because he'd run up this knoll and pulled up and shot this cow. And then the rest of the herd kind of went down the ridge a little bit, and I scurried down on our side of the ridge. It was on the other side. And I scurried down, and I'm sitting, 100 yards away, and a cow and a couple calves pass by, and so I don't have any kind of a shot at anything. But anyway, we go back up, and we're cleaning out this cow, and this stupid spike elk, while we're cleaning out the cow and dressing it, and I mean, we're not quiet at all. My father-in-law, if any of you know him, he's telling everybody how great a shot that was, and how we all need to be a little bit more like him, and so we're loud as all get out, and this stupid spike walks within about 30, 40 yards of us. I mean, it was a archery shot if I'd had my rifle ready. So I had to go down, pick up my rifle. I shuffled one in. It didn't actually go in, so I had to reshuffle it. And finally, I pull up, same thing as my first year hunting deer. I get right in front, but it's a little different because I'm right in front of it, and then all of a sudden I hear boom. And my brother-in-law had pulled up. He didn't want me to shoot, so he pulled up and just kind of hip shots and tries to shoot it. And at that point, I'm not at a vital. I'm more on the neck. But I heard that shot, and I just instinctively shot, and it went up. It bled like a son of a gun, and we tracked it all day. They finally gave up on it. I wasn't going to give up on it, so I kept tracking it, and just ran out of trail, ran out of blood. But I think what makes that the worst was sitting there listening to my father-in-law tell me, well, you got to be more patient on things like that. You got to make sure you got the right shot. And I'm like, I was trying to make sure. But all of a sudden, lead was flying. I had to throw lead too. It just, anyway, and it's one of those stories that every year it comes up. Part of my hunting with my father-in-law, it's got to come up in the story, and I've just got to. Yep, that was a stupid choice. I shouldn't have done it like that. Yeah, I was pretty sick after that. So.
I don't blame you. Well, probably one of my favorite deer hunts of all time. And I got set up, and it's a super long, steep hike, and you're clear at the top of the peak. And the sun came out, and I'm looking around, looking to the left and scanning up to the top and looking where I want to shoot the deer up above me, and I couldn't see anything. And I turned around and looked back down the peak, the direction I came, and about 600 yards below me, there was 2 bucks there. So I spun around and got set up and looked, and one was bedded down and one was standing there. And so in my mind, I'm like, I'll shoot the one that's standing up. And because when you're shooting at a steep angle like that, it doesn't really affect the trajectory. So it's pretty easy to make a long shot on a steep hill like that. So I hiked down there and just enjoying life, eating some jerky, listening to the birds, and a whole herd of deer come running past me. But I got them back to camp, and I just slept for like hours. I was so exhausted, but that was fun to be able to have that much success in such a short amount of time.
Favorite hunt. Really have to scratch my brain on this one because I think one of my favorite times being out hunting. We didn't have any success at all, but we were out up on Muncie, and it was when we used to hunt with Baylesses, and we drove the 4-wheeler up the trail and got off and then went hiking. And I remember being just in a place that we were just surrounded by cow elk. They were everywhere. We were kind of hunkered down and just sitting and watching them, but being in that close and the smell, the sound, I don't know. There was just something about that really stands out in my mind. Again, we didn't harvest anything that year, but it was an amazing time. Maybe one of my other favorite ones was, and unfortunately you weren't even part of this one, Colton, but when I took Jaylee out, and she didn't want to go. She was throwing a fit. But she had a tag, and so we drove all the way over to Nucla, and again, there was just something about, we didn't get into them. We didn't have really any luck at all, but it was just kind of a daddy-daughter driving around. I went ahead and let her get in the driver's seat. She was a little too young to be driving, but I let her drive a little ways, and then I took a picture and sent it back home to your mom, to Lori, and and she says, "Oh, it looks like you're having fun." And then a little while later, she's like, "Wait a minute, is she driving?" So that one wound up being fun for a totally different reason. And then this year, just the combination of the hunts, the deer hunt that everybody had so much success on, and Bronson had got his elk as well, and then following that up with Colton with your elk hunt. It was just a really good year. It was a fun year. I think probably my best hunt is yet to come. I'm really looking forward to this next one, having Tracer back and hopefully having everybody together. I think that's going to be. So my favorite hunt, 2023.
Yeah.
Deer Camp
Yeah.
2023.
Deer Camp 2023.
We should all be there this year.
Oh, yeah.
I'm shooting a deer one way or another. I'm not.
Yep, with a little
Pull the
Wiley.
old Caden trick and let me look through the scope real quick.
Yeah.
Look at
Hunter,
that! You
let me
shot
see
a
your
deer.
gun, buddy.
Hey, I'll shoot you
Just
before
let me
you touch my
look
gun.
at it really carefully. Yeah.
No, we're all excited. I know Caden and I are way excited for 2023 and the deer camp. So yeah, it'll be fun. Whether or not, I don't think I'll ever have a tag, or I won't get a tag this year, but it'll be fun being up there and try to film a little bit more. And
We're gonna have elk tags
Okay,
too,
cool.
so Colton can track down the elk.
yeah.
Heck yeah.
I can't. Filling the elk tag was, I don't know. That was, I want to say pure luck. We had to be out there or else it wouldn't have happened, but it was pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was one of those that we were ready to go home. So while Caden and Hunter were packing up camp, we just went out for a quick morning, whatever, and became successful. So
Yep.
Heck yeah. We did have one final quick question for you guys. And we'll actually get Hunter to answer this one too.
All right.
What would be your dream hunt?
whoever has it first, go ahead.
Go ahead, Hunter.
All right, bet. Dream hunt would be to go to Kazakhstan and go shoot an ibex. Growing up around my dad, if you know him at all, he's a goat fanatic. He loves goats and sheep and everything. And I don't know, there's just something about ibex and how big their horns get and how much they curl back and just they look just really, really cool. And it's such a unique hunting experience. With all the videos that I've seen on YouTube and TV and stuff, it's like nothing you'll ever experience ever, because you are hunting them in places that man is not supposed to be. But we somehow managed to get up there and get a bullet into one, and then the stories and everything that you have after are just unbelievable. And so that is a hunt that hopefully sometime before I'm too old to hike up a mountain like that, I can get out there and get it done.
What's funny is last week on our podcast with just me and Colton, we were talking about this. And my dream hunt is an ibex too.
Yeah.
Now I see where it comes from.
You're welcome.
Cool.
I would guess. Holy crap! I would love to shoot an ibex. In fact, I think you can raise them in Colorado. I think they're about $1,800 for a little teeny baby one, and I think that we should put a big fence in Caden's backyard. It's like a full acre, and put an ibex back there.
Freak out.
The three of us could go in, pay for it. What do you say, Hunter? You want to raise an ibex?
Yeah, if I can shoot it.
So the two of us can go in on it.
Then Hunter can say, "Let me just look at it real quick."
Yeah, let me just go look at that real quick.
But one of my dream hunts for sure, though, would be a red stag in New Zealand. The cool thing about New Zealand is there's not like hunting licenses. You can just shoot whatever the crap you want, as much as you want. And there's wild Spanish goats running everywhere and all kinds of weird stuff. And you could just go out and camp for like a week, shoot some stuff, eat it, then take your time and find the right red stag you want and shoot it. That's something I would love to do besides an ibex. I'm so old, I don't know if I could handle that, the ibex hunt. I might just have to live vicariously through you guys, or else Hunter will have to strap a pack on and carry me up the mountain so I can watch that way. But what about you, Matt? What's your dream hunt?
Well, I was trying to think, because I'm the idea of going anywhere just makes me tired. So I just elk hunting in Colorado. It has more to do with having everybody around. But as I was thinking about that, and you were saying something about being too old to hike around, I was thinking helicopters and hogs.
Hey, I know some guys that fly helicopters.
I think that might be my dream hunt. Just getting a helicopter, just flying around and pew, 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 pew.
Do you have any connections for us yet, Hunter?
Dude, I've been trying. We had a guy that said he could hook it up, but he was lying.
Oh.
Jared, right?
So one of your bosses, Ty Coates, he was in Texas hunting hogs, not with a helicopter though.
Yeah. Well, that's Eric Neal and everybody. They just went and did a hog hunt in Texas.
Yeah, well, that's Ty's.
Eric's son.
Yeah, Eric's son. So.
No, it's kind of crazy how they're all kind of saying. We went ibex and we went New Zealand. So I want to do a New Zealand hunt, and Caden want to do the ibex. So we all think alike somehow.
Heck yeah.
Almost like we're related. It's kind of crazy.
I know.
Almost
And then
like
there's Uncle Matt. I'll just sit in my lounge here. Area 61.
Ibex. Put me in a helicopter.
Yeah.
No, this was a good time. We were looking forward to doing this one with you guys, and we're going to plan on having you guys more in the future.
Oh yeah.
Because, like I said earlier, it's kind of your fault that we're into this thing and that we love doing what we love doing. And so, as much as we want me, Hunter, Colton, Jared, everyone to be, Tracer, be part of this, we want you guys to be part of it as well.
That's great.
Talked about a deer camp, you know. The only things that would have made it better is if the old man and Tracer were there.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, in a way they kind of were because we FaceTimed them a lot too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
No, I'm really looking forward to the 2023 deer hunt. That's one that I'm hoping everybody can make it to. We just, we have half the year that we did last year. It'll be worth it.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I do have one question that hasn't been asked yet. And this dates back to early years.
Look, I apologize if we left you with Verger. Okay? We thought people were there. So me and Matt, we were turkey hunting, and these guys were bored, so we drove them back to Verger, dumped off Colton and Caden, then we went out turkey hunting, and there was nobody there. And we scarred you guys for life. I really truly believe that.
Well, we were, I don't even remember how old we were.
We were young.
Not old at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were walking.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
No, we were running around looking for people. We were going upstairs, downstairs, running around Verger.
It's a good thing there's a cattle guard to keep them out of the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, you weren't old enough to cross the cattle guard, so you're safe.
Yeah, I knew that was going to come up. I knew it. I almost was going to share that as my favorite hunt. Oh, we went turkey hunting this one time.
Yeah.
No, I had to bring that one up. It's all fun and jokes now.
Yeah, serious.
Hey, those are scars that you can all leave with your kids at some point as well. So
I don't know if I want to do that.
That's part of being a dad is you make stupid choices all the time.
You can't shelter them. You know.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I wish we could do different, but I'm just glad I get to watch my kids screw up as much as I did. So that'll
Oh hell.
make me feel better in the end. I'll be like, I did a good job. Look at that. Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody have any last remarks or anything?
No.
No. Cool.
No, it's been fun.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
No.
Maybe me and Matt.
Oh, go ahead.
Said maybe me and Matt should start a podcast the way I remember it. And just tell stories the whole time. We could tell the same story each time and just change it a little bit. You know? 1 year we were out.
Well, the funny part about it is, what we should do with it is, you tell a story and I tell a story. We say, okay, we're going to tell this story, but not together. You tell yours, I tell mine, and then we put them together later and see how different it is. Because they're going to be totally
gold
different.
with that idea.
That's a good. I like that.
But the other part of that is, we're getting to that point. We're getting to that age where I might tell the same story today as I do next week. Forget, number one, that I told it last week, and number two, everything changes from the same story. So, but it's up here. It's the way that it is. You know.
Yeah, it's the way I
it's all
remember it.
real up here. Whether that's actually how it happened or not, I don't know.
Yeah, burned in there.
It's crazy
Yeah.
that spike I shot and missed out was actually a 4-point.
That's right.
No, we thank you guys for joining us today, and probably making our best podcast yet with us.
Yeah, for sure.
Everyone who's listening, go and check out our Instagram, YouTube page. We're on Spotify as well, HnH Pursuit.
Yes, sir.
Any ladies listening, Hunter's Instagram, HHughes1113.
FarmersOnly.com. Make sure you check that out. Hunter's on there. You have 1,000 acres. Hit him up.
Yep.
Doesn't matter where.
No, perfect. But I think we should end this thing.
Yep.
All right.
So thank you all for listening. Thanks to our guests. I know it means a lot to me to have you guys on it. So, and I'm sure it does for the other two as well. But like Cade was saying, we wouldn't be here without you guys. We wouldn't have the passion we have without you guys. And
And you wouldn't be in as good a shape because, we're not hiking those hills. We'll send you up.
That's
you
right.
have to get your butts up the hills. But yeah, we do appreciate you guys and everything you do for us.
Yeah.
Right on.
Love you guys.
Well,
All right.
All right.
love you guys too.
Love you guys. Bye.
Next time.